The movie begins with a container truck that has just left a well-known restricted area, Area 51. The truck is on its way to somewhere, escorted by soldiers. Through the soldiers' conversations, it is shown that they do not know the contents of the containers they are delivering. On the other side, there is a newlywed couple enjoying their first day of marriage. The woman, who is very happy, gives her husband a moment of pleasure. As the man is very involved in the woman's actions, he does not notice that the car he is driving has veered out of the lane. Consequently, the couple's car collides with the truck transporting the mysterious container, instantly exploding. The commander leading the truck convoy receives a call from headquarters telling them to stay away from the container. However, before they can hear what headquarters has to say, a mysterious creature suddenly emerges from the container. The mysterious creature is actually a zombie, but genetically different, being much more dangerous and possessing intelligence, which immediately attacks the soldiers there. After this incident, the zombie and the infected soldiers prepare to attack the city of Las Vegas. The city of Las Vegas, with millions of citizens, transforms into a city of zombies in just one night. The government is overwhelmed in its efforts to eradicate the zombie virus due to its rapid spread. The incident finally forces the government to erect a wall of containers around the entire city of Las Vegas, leaving the zombies inside the city. A few months later, a former soldier named Scott Ward hears the news that the president is planning to bomb the city using a low-yield nuclear weapon. Then, a casino owner, Mr. Tanaka, comes to his workplace. He offers Scott the mission of recovering his $200 million from a casino building in the dead city of Las Vegas. In detail, Mr. Tanaka instructs Scott to form a team to carry out the mission, and the team participating will be rewarded with $50 million of the recovered money. The scene then shifts to a quarantine facility inside the container wall. A woman named Gara is asking Scott's daughter, Kate, to take care of her children. Gara says she would enter the dead city to find the treasure left there. She plans to enter Las Vegas with the help of an infiltrator, Lily, a border guard. Meanwhile, Scott suddenly has a dream about his past when he was forced to kill his own wife because she had turned into a zombie. After some considerations, Scott finally agrees to the mission previously offered by Mr. Tanaka. Soon after, Scott begins recruiting people he knows to join his team, including Maria and Vander. They are former Elite Forces members and are offered a reward of $15 million each, including Scott. The others are Peter, a helicopter pilot, for $2 million, and a zombie-hunting YouTuber, Guzman, for $500,000. A safecracking expert named Dyron, with a reward of $250,000, and the remaining money for emergency needs. After finishing recruiting the team members, they immediately prepared their favorite weapons, which they will use later to deal with the zombies. The next day, Guzman also brought his friends Damon and Chambers to join the mission. Mr. Tanaka then proceeded to explain his strategy in detail about the mission they were about to carry out. The plan was that after everyone crossed the border wall, they would all make their way through the zombies until they reached the building where the vault was located. After entering the building, Peter would go to the roof to prepare the helicopter, while the others would follow Dyron to the vault to retrieve all the money. Once everything was done, everyone would go to the top of the building with the money, a seemingly easy and quick task. Additionally, they would be accompanied by one of Tanaka's men, who would keep them under surveillance to ensure they didn't take all the money. They also have one day to complete the mission before the government detonates the nuclear weapons across the city of Las Vegas. Later that night, Scott asked for Kate's help to cross the border. He offered Kate $15 million to pay for the children's schooling in the camp. In fact, Kate is a volunteer at the quarantine camp and can indirectly allow people to enter the dead city. The next day, they boarded the bus and started their journey to the camp. When they arrived, they met Lily, who would take them to the city of Las Vegas. Kate then realized that Gara, who had invited her to enter the dead city, had already left the camp. She then got angry and immediately punched Lily. It turns out that Lily had no idea that Gara had children, which led her to allow Gara into Las Vegas. As a result, Kate demanded to go with Scott to find Gara. Scott initially refused Kate's request, but after Kate threatened to go alone, Scott was forced to let his daughter join the mission. Not only Kate, but Lily also asked to add another member, Bert, as she needed Bert's help inside the city. They then began their mission and entered zombie territory. As soon as they entered the city, they suddenly heard a loud roar approaching them, which turned out to be the roar of a zombie tiger. They panicked at first, but the tiger was just passing by and had no intention of attacking them. After the incident, Lily immediately approached Bert and tried to ask for his weapon. Then, when Bert handed her his weapon, Lily suddenly shot his leg, claiming they needed to offer sacrifices to the zombies. Maria thought Lily had betrayed them, but according to Lily, she did this because if they didn't offer a sacrifice, they would have to deal with zombies that were much smarter than regular zombies, commonly known as alpha zombies. Moreover, the reason Lily used Bert as the victim was that he frequently did bad things to women in the quarantine camp. After hearing this, the rest of the team finally agreed to make Bert a sacrifice so they could pass through the city without being attacked by the alpha zombies. Shortly after, the zombie queen and one of her bodyguards came and immediately took Bert somewhere. When Bert arrived at the building, he found himself surrounded by alpha zombies until one of the zombies, known as the Zombie King, arrived and turned him into an alpha zombie. After a long journey, they had to pass through a building to get to their destination. It turned out that there were many zombies inside that were hibernating or had been asleep for a long time. Since there was no other way, they had no choice but to pass through a horde of zombies. Scott led them through the zombies, marking a passable path. However, during the journey, Tanaka's man, Martin, discarded the glow sticks, causing Chambers, who was behind him, to walk in another direction. Unfortunately, while trying to leave the area of zombies, she accidentally bumped into one of them, causing the zombies to wake up and attack her. Chambers tried to fight off the zombies to get out of there, but unfortunately, Martin then closed and locked the door, leaving Chambers trapped in the crowd of zombies. Guzman, who saw the zombie attack, then asked Martin about Chambers' whereabouts, but Martin said he had no idea what had happened to her. Shortly after, Chambers suddenly came out of the window. However, since she had been surrounded by zombies, she told Guzman to get out of there immediately. Guzman was forced to shoot the gasoline Chambers was carrying. After reaching their destination, Scott directed everyone to carry out their designated tasks, with Peter and Maria going to the building's roof to prepare the helicopter. Martin and Lily were in charge of keeping the situation outside the building under control. The vault would be opened by Vander, Dyron, and Guzman, while Scott and Kate were tasked with turning on the generator. Without delay, everyone set out to complete their tasks. Lily and Martin, who were on guard outside, suddenly provoked the appearance of the Zombie Queen for no apparent reason so that Martin could capture her. The Zombie Queen's bodyguard, who saw the incident, tried to attack Martin, but in the end, Lily managed to shoot and defeat the zombie bodyguard. It turned out that Lily did this to help Martin, who had previously said he needed the Zombie Queen's blood for research. However, it seems that Martin lied to Lily, as his real purpose was to take the Zombie Queen's head so they could create an army of controllable living bodies. When Lily saw this, she tried to warn Martin that if the Zombie King managed to find the Zombie Queen's body, their previous agreement would be in vain. Meanwhile, near the vault, the three men managed to blow up the gate, and then they used several zombies as bait to release all the deadly traps. Once the traps were successfully cleared, Dyron began using his skills to unlock the vault. Meanwhile, Peter seemed to be having trouble starting the helicopter, which was found to be damaged in several parts. Additionally, the helicopter caught fire while Peter was tinkering with the engine. At the same time, they were watching the news and discovered that the president had moved up the date of the bombing to 1 day earlier than planned. This worried everyone, as they now only had an hour and a half to complete the mission before the city was destroyed by a nuclear weapon. Upon hearing the news, Scott and the others rushed to the vault room, but their presence disturbed Dyron, who was unlocking the vault at that moment and had to start over from the beginning. While waiting for Dyron to unlock the vault, they began counting the money they found in the building to distribute equally among the rest of the team. After waiting for a while, Dyron finally managed to open the vault door. Everyone was very happy to see the large pile of money inside the vault. Scott then told Vander and the others to quickly put the money into bags, as they only had 1 hour left. He also did not realize that Kate had already left and was on her own searching for Gara. Meanwhile, the Zombie King found the body of the Zombie Queen and brought it back to his base. Knowing that the child conceived by the Zombie Queen had died, the Zombie King became enraged and ordered his entire army to attack the building where Scott and the others were carrying out their mission. When Scott realized that Kate had gone out to find Gara, he planned to find her with Maria. However, just as they were about to enter the elevator, the zombies suddenly appeared and killed Maria. After Scott managed to defeat some of the zombies, they immediately looked for a way out of that place, but unfortunately, Martin had locked everyone in and left. When they realized what was happening, they tried to get out by making holes in the wall with a chainsaw brought by Vander. Unfortunately, when Vander and Dyron were dispersing the zombies, the Zombie King suddenly appeared and was about to attack them. They tried to shoot the Zombie King in the head, but due to his iron helmet, they couldn't do it, forcing Vander to fight the Zombie King with his bare hands. This was not a good idea, as Vander only got beaten up. When the Zombie King was about to bite Vander's hand, Dyron suddenly appeared and hit the Zombie King. He then sacrificed himself to save Vander by putting him inside the vault. Meanwhile, Martin tried to take the Zombie Queen's head while he was ready to leave, but it turned out that Lily had replaced the Zombie Queen's head with a money counter. Shortly after that, the zombie tiger that was guarding outside suddenly appeared and attacked. Like a piece of meat, the tiger threw him from side to side until finally killing him. When Scott, Lily, and Guzman came out of the vault room, they planned to go straight to the terrace to meet Peter, but as the zombies were very close to them, they were forced to fight them first. Unfortunately, Guzman was bitten by one of the zombies, so he killed himself by detonating all the grenades on his body so that Scott and Lily could escape the zombie attacks. When the two reached the rooftop, it turned out that the Zombie King had caught up with them, so Lily was forced to take out the Zombie Queen's head to threaten the Zombie King. She then told Scott to get into the helicopter immediately. Unfortunately, the Zombie King threw his spear straight through Lily's body. With this, Lily was forced to let go of the Zombie Queen's head, which finally fell from the top of the building. Meanwhile, Kate finally managed to find Gara, who was being locked up at the Zombie King's headquarters. However, just as they were about to escape, the zombie Bert suddenly appeared and bit one of them. After Kate managed to kill the zombie Bert, the Zombie King came along with several of his men and immediately attacked Kate and Gara. The two were out of options, but Kate shot at the zombies until she finally managed to kill them all, leaving only the Zombie King. When the Zombie King was about to attack them, Scott suddenly appeared and fired his grenade launcher. Then, when they reached the rooftop, they thought Peter had left, but fortunately, Peter had returned to save the three of them. However, they did not realize that the Zombie King was still alive and managed to jump onto the helicopter. Scott tried to fight the zombie, but he was strong and managed to bite him. Fortunately, Scott broke free and managed to shoot the Zombie King in the head. Just after they got away from the city, the nuclear bomb dropped and exploded, destroying Las Vegas. The impact of the explosion reached and shook the helicopter, causing the aircraft to crash. When Kate woke up from her unconsciousness, she realized that Peter and Gara had died. At that moment, only Scott and Kate survived the crash. However, since Scott had been bitten by the Zombie King, Kate was forced to shoot Scott in the head when he showed signs of turning into a zombie. After the nuclear explosion destroyed the entire building, it turned out that Vander was still alive and finally managed to get out of the vault. After a long journey, he then took a car and planned to go abroad with several bags full of hundreds of millions of dollars in cash. Before the film ended, Vander, who was on the plane, suddenly felt dizzy and decided to go to the bathroom. Inside, he realized that he had been bitten by the Zombie King, and thus the zombie race was not exterminated.